4 complaints to the Florida bar. Rough drafts. I'm writing the final copy today. Anyways, basically, Rusty Franklin said, "Your Honor, I have to quit due to personal reasons." And he didn't even read the assessment that he made me get. He made me get another assessment. In the assessment, she wrote on the report that now Susan Lavelle, what she does is basically she gives the test, and then a few weeks later she writes up the report on the notes and she acts like it's 2 different people. So in case there's a mistake, which would be a lie or fraud, it's just a mistake because somebody else freaking gave the test, took notes, and then somebody else wrote the report. It's fraud. Anyways, basically, Susan Lavelle called my mom. The first time I met Susan Lavelle, I passed the freaking competency test 100%. So I told her that my Russian ex-wife looks just like Putin's daughters. And so she said I was incompetent. Then the next time I gained my competency back. Then Carlos Leder got out of prison. 33 years of prison for 3.3 tons of cocaine. Now the thing is my first psychosis when I was talking about Pablo Putin Trump 2017 or 2016, my friend Brian cut off the head of Carlos Leder, put my head and posted the picture and said, "Danny, I found a picture of you and Pablo." I didn't even think to Google freaking that guy's name. I didn't hear his name until I didn't realize his name until I saw the news article, after I got arrested twice. And so basically, he got out of prison for 3.3 tons of cocaine, supposedly. But he's a politician, and there's about 20 of them. He's a politician in Orlando. In California. And so I called up Rusty's office and I asked his secretary to tell Rusty, ask Rusty to Google Carlos Leder, click images, see how many of the different ones there are, and I wanted to come in and talk to him about the book that I'm writing. Because Rusty Franklin, my mom told me she really trusted him. My mom did his wife's bridal shower, and his wife is a secretary. So I didn't talk to Rusty Franklin about Carlos Leder. I freaking asked his wife to have him research him and then contact me so I could come in and, research him for 5 minutes. So I could come in and talk to him about the book that I'm writing. He never called me. He called my mom and told my mom that I needed to be reevaluated. Now on the assessment, it says that I had frustration towards freaking my lawyer, and I went into his office and I said, "Google Carlos Leder, blah, 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 blah." She wrote on the assessment that I went and talked to him about Carlos Leder. I did not. I never talked to him about Carlos Leder. He called my mom and told my mom I needed to be reevaluated. Then in court, he goes, "Your Honor, I think he needs to be reevaluated." I said, "I don't think so. I don't want to be reevaluated." And he yelled at me, "I think you do." And so basically, Rusty was never my lawyer. He was my mom's lawyer. My mom told me she really trusted him because she did his wife's, with a friend, bridal shower. She catered it, planned it, cooked for it, whatever. His wife's bridal shower, which is now a secretary. And they sent me to a mental hospital. So he freaking said, "Your Honor, I have to quit due to personal reasons." He said, "Your Honor, he has involuntary hospital. And I have to quit due to personal reasons." And he turned around and he walked out of court. Well, dude, he never even looked at the evaluation. And the evaluation was totally wrong because she's saying that I freaking, got in an argument with him and shit and freaking was talking to him about Carlos Leder, and I never was. So then anyways, so I'm standing there by the podium by myself, and my judge, I'm not going to say her name because there's an injunction against me because I sent her freaking proof. Oh yeah. So anyways, I was going to a mental hospital on one doctor's opinion. I sent freaking emails, proof of spy stuff to Kalia Schilling. Now Kalia Schilling, she promised me 2 doctors' opinion. The judge, my old judge, gave me she goes, "Don't worry, we have plenty of lawyers here." And she gave me a cool guy, a black guy with dreads. And I heard he was really good. So we made an appointment for after the weekend. So I think Rusty Franklin thought I was going to get handcuffed right there and taken to jail, because to wait for a hospital bed. Because of one doctor's opinion. The law says it takes 2. So I went to freaking meet with the black guy with dreads that I heard was really good. And Kalia Schilling comes down and she goes, comes out and she goes, Dennis, blah, 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 I'm going to be your lawyer, blah, blah. I said, no way. I want the black guy with dreads. I hear he's really good and I want a second opinion. The law says 2 opinions before they put you back in the jail to wait for a hospital bed. Yes, Dennis, that's the law, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to work for you. So I signed, I'm your lawyer. So I signed on with her. I screwed up. I signed on with her. And then basically right after I signed up with her, she goes, I need to talk to your mom alone for a few minutes. I said, no way. You're not talking to my mom. No way. You're not talking to my mom. You're my lawyer, not my mom's lawyer. Rusty Franklin was my mom's lawyer. And freaking, if you talk to my mom, then you're going to end up freaking, because she told me, she goes, I'm going to get you a second opinion. That's the law, blah, 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 blah. And then she tells me, I sign on, then she says, I'll fight for you. And then I told her, no way, she's not freaking talking to my mom, because if she talks to my mom, she's going to end up not getting me a second opinion. Something's going to happen. She's not going to get me a second opinion. And then basically, she goes, Dennis, I still need to talk to your mom. So I argued with her 2 more times, and then in my head, I thought, this is ineffective, inadequate counsel. So if I don't say anything, I'm never going to give her permission. In my head, I said, I'm never going to give her permission to go talk to my mom. I already told her she cannot talk to my mom. But I'm going to quit arguing because I got to go freaking home. And if she goes and talks to my mom, that's ineffective, inadequate counsel. My mom's the victim. I told her that my mom's the lying victim. That's freaking that said that, all this bullshit that's in the assessment to get me to go to a mental hospital to be forced on medication. And basically, when I got to Treasure Coast Forensic Treatment Center, and I told the freaking the first doctor at intake the spy story and the spy book story, he said, he jumped up out of his chair. I get it. You're not crazy at all. No medication. I don't want you on any medication. But you tell me this: why would you ever want to hang out with your mom and sister ever again? Well, my mom and sister were perfect until I told them I was a spy. Anyways, Jimmy's mom told me there's no way my mom's ever going to believe the story. She listened to the whole thing. So basically, some of my friends, one of my friends, he's a freaking chiropractor. He listened to my whole spy rant thing. Anyways, I made a video that Hezbollah coca leaf farmers just got to Iran in 1974. ACDC jailbreak a CIA operative out of prison in Iran, and demon aliens can't detect the tactical, the Russian suitcase nukes because they're encased in NASA black ceramic tile. Something like that. And about 3 to 4 days later, Nazar Zakka was released from prison in Iran. Nazar Zakka is a Riverside alumni. He went to my military school. I don't think I knew him. I didn't know him. That was his last year at Riverside. He was in a different dorm. I was in D Company. Anyways, basically, he's listened to all my spy rants. So basically, Kalia Schilling promised me a second doctor's opinion. I signed on with her. Then she told me she's going to talk to my mom. I told her no way. I quit arguing with her, and she went and got my mom, talked to her. Then we all got together, and I tried to show her a picture. I told her I wanted to show her a picture, a sign from God. And she goes, I don't believe in God. And at first I thought, well, damn, dude, I'm getting another, definitely getting a new lawyer. Anyways, she doesn't believe in God. And basically, if you say God and Amen and Lord and Jesus, those are fallen angel names. English language was made to enslave us in the courts, indoctrinate the kids at school, and change the Bible, not translate the Bible. Anyways, King James was gay, killed his mom. Anyways, basically, so they changed the Bible. It's totally changed. King James wrote casting spells, freaking demonology books, a bunch of them, before he freaking translated the Bible. So anyways, it's been totally changed. So basically, I'm not preaching the Bible at all. So basically, because it's been changed. Anyways, I hear the most accurate Bible is the Ethiopian Bible. In the Book of Enoch is very important. All the books, what his name's Yahusha or Yahweh, what he taught. So I've been, which is replug DNA and activate your pineal gland, your third eye. So anyways, so Kalia Schilling, I went to meet her after, I signed on with her and then we left, Then I came back after the weekend and she goes, oh, Dennis, you have schizophrenia. My company's not going to pay for a second doctor's opinion. And I knew it. I told her that's what she was going to do, and that's what she did. One doctor's opinion, they're trying to send me to a mental hospital. So I already knew I was going to pick up my friend John up in North Florida and go to freaking Brevard County, sell my van, get a new lawyer, and get a second opinion. And basically, I started running out of time. So I tried to call Kalia a few times at her office. She never called me back. Then the morning of court, I was supposed to be at court. I did not make it yet because I did not get a new lawyer yet, but I sold my van and stuff, and I had the money to get a new lawyer. And my mom my mom called me, and she goes, "Where are you?" And I go, "Where's Kalia at?" And I said, "She's right here." I'll go hand her the phone. I go, "Kalia, can you please get me a continuance?" She goes, "No, Dennis, I'm not getting you a continuance. The judge is going to issue a warrant for your arrest. I'm allowed 2 continuances." She said she was going to fight for me. She told me she was going to give me a second opinion. She did not. She talked to my mom when I didn't want her to, and I told her not to, and she did. And then she won't even freaking get me a continuance? And then so basically, I asked her again, "I'm allowed to, blah, 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 blah. Please get me a continuance." "No, Dennis, I'm not getting you a continuance. You better hurry up and get here." I'm like, "I'm in Brevard County. I'm not going to get there." So I left. I got hung up. And so basically, and I decided freaking, I did a lot of meth, and I decided to fucking text the freaking judge all proof that I'm a spy, my whole book stuff, and and so she knows, and everything that Susan Lavelle said, everything Susan Lavelle said I was delusional about, it needed 6 months mental hospital, forced on medication. It's all facts. All she has to do is each topic, just Google each freaking topic. Basically, it's all facts. So basically, where's my... Everything that she freaking said is... Where's my book? Where is it? Oh. Everything. So that's what she did. So basically, she freaking... They sent me to a mental hospital on one doctor's opinion, which is totally illegal. And so basically, then it gets worse. So then freaking, I texted the judge. All proof. Proof that everything that she freaking said. This is little, this is from the other. So if you read this, everything that she said is freaking facts. All you'd have to do is Google it. And I told her that. And she didn't do it. So I texted the judge all proof of all this stuff, And then basically, you can screenshot that. And then you can screenshot that and then blow it up and read it. And then screenshot this one. So basically, I'm sending this in with the Florida bar too. So those are 4 complaints to the Florida bar. Then I have 2 complaints. So basically, in all this lies and it's just made up stuff. My mom building a case that I'm crazy, and now they won't let me. Now I told the judge now that I'm freaking competent. She had me get an assessment. I go, "So you're telling me you want me to get an assessment by the same lady that I'm telling you I have four complaints to the Florida bar, and she freaking lied, and you want me to get an assessment by her?" And she said yes. She wanted me to get an assessment by the same person. Now look at my freaking test scores, competency, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%. But I'm freaking retarded up here. With all this stuff she's from Canada. Everybody knows, if you Google Pablo Escobar, articles in Lakeland Ledger newspaper, if you Google Pablo Escobar buying missiles for El Salvador in Polk County, articles in Lakeland Ledger newspaper, there's none. And if you Google Carlos Letter, articles in Lakeland Ledger newspaper, there's none. But they're in every other newspaper on the planet. Why? Because if my mom would have seen it, she'd have been like, "Dennis, the Spanish pastor that took Denny to Indian guys is Pablo Escobar. Your college friends, football friends, high school friends, and Air Force friends are all Carlos Letter, and they're getting busted in the Medellin cartel. And where's Denny? He's freaking Oklahoma." And freaking boom, he keeps on saying he's going to Mexico and his friend's playing next week, and his freaking... Then he said he went last week, and now he says he hasn't been, and he's not going to no play. So what is going on? So I don't know. So I just made that part up. So I didn't tell my mom anything about a plane in Oklahoma. But I went to college in Oklahoma. If you Google Lenny, Pablo Escobar, 16-year-old pilot. If you YouTube Lenny Denny's rap song, Lenny Denny's commercials. Anyways, I'm Lenny Robert Escobar. I have a whole team. COVID-19, COVID-19, COVID-19. The day they said St. Corona, $1 trillion crash in the stock market. That's my team. They sold at the highest price. Then they freaking boom, wait for everybody else to sell, and then they buy their same position back at the lowest price. That's how they do it. Anyways, so basically, but what is that? So then I texted the judge all the proof of spy stuff, and then they came and got me. They came and got me. A detective came to Brevard County, and basically I had 30 sheriffs following me to they came to the hotel. I accidentally forgot to turn my phone off. I thought I turned my phone off and then drove back to the hotel, but I didn't turn my phone off. And the texts were going all night long, the proof of spy shit, which is, which is proof of spy stuff is all this stuff. Like, my book stuff that, all the new articles and stuff that's, And so, all this stuff, I got to print that one. And these all have to be black and white. So these are the black and white ones to go to because basically, just this stuff. So I texted that to the judge, and then she sent a detective. The detective was thinking they had 30 sheriffs follow me and I turned myself into the Cocoa Beach Police Company. And right when I jumped out of the car, I told them, Polk County's freaking boom arrested me because I was talking about Matt Williams getting killed by the police, and he is the police. Right when I mentioned Matt Williams, they all ended up on my side. And then they took me to Cape Canaveral to talk to the detective. They wouldn't even let me leave me in a room with him alone. And then he was like, he was kind of like confused why they were treating me so good. And he didn't realize that I'm friends with the cops in Brevard County. Basically, 5 police officers came up to freaking Ron John parking lot and they got a 911 call and freaking jumped out of the car and came in there right to me in freaking Ron John parking lot and said, "You can't be telling people about your spy memories." And they're laughing and shit. They went over to, 911 call 2000, I don't even know, a few years ago. Well, 5 years ago, a year before I got arrested. So anyways, they didn't know. So I went to the Cocoa Beach Police 5 or 6 times to tell them about my spy memories. And so basically 20-something years ago, freaking Officer Easy Rodriguez was having a sting operation and catching people selling jewelry on the beach. But then he let me know 3 times my jewelry was really cool, and he walked me to the parking lot to my car, kind of, signaled to me that I can come back tomorrow. He's Detective Easy now. So he got a copy of my book and stuff. So basically, all of them now know that my memories were erased, something to do with Matt Williams too. So basically, Matt Williams got shot 9 times, and he became a sheriff in 1990. And then his dog, Diogi, got shot twice, and his partner got shot once. That's 3. And then Matt Williams became a sheriff in 1993. And then Angelo Freeland got shot 68 times. A known drug dealer, probably buying drugs. And then what do you know, dude? 11 years later, in our fake riot in Q-Dorm, I was arrested for aggravated stalking. My sister lied to the police. My sister was influenced by a friend that has a sheriff as a brother and a friend that has a sheriff as a husband. But did those sheriffs stick up for Matt Williams getting killed by the police and he is the police? I don't think so. And Angelo Freeland, a freaking innocent black man, freaking on a misdemeanor traffic stop, shot 68 times. And they said on freaking national TV because they ran out of bullets. We don't ever run out of bullets. Not in Polk County. Anyways, basically, Polk County does a lot of illegal shit to black people and for a lot of illegal shit to everybody. That courthouse is illegal. That freaking transport van is illegal. And there's a mass KKK grave underneath Polk County Jail. Google Frostproof KKK. I promise you, there's a mass grave underneath Polk County Jail. I think. Anyways, who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't even know where I got the information. But there is. But if you look up Frostproof KKK. Anyways, basically, there's freaking mass. There's graves underneath. Anyways, KKK, KKK, KKK. K9. Anyways, white police are freaking racist. Anyways, basically, there's a few that aren't. But I'm talking, I'm talking the ones in Polk County. I like the police and sheriffs all around the country. I like them all. In Venice Beach, California, they would come to my jewelry booth and say, "You can't be here into the evening when it gets dark." And they would help me pack my shit into my car and get me out of there before dark. And they said, "The gangs will come, they'll steal your shit." Really, they just didn't want people to see me there. And then freaking my Russian wife was laughing every time she would help me on the weekends. All the celebrities were avoiding my booth. She goes, there's some more. Look, more celebrities ignoring your booth. So celebrities were not allowed to go to my booth. Anyways, I don't even know why, but I do know why. So anyways, basically Kalia Schilling. Then I freaking got transported back to jail, and then freaking had to go to jail. Now, I had 2 court dates to get in front of the judge, and I was going to tell the judge that, hey, you're sending me to a mental hospital on one doctor's opinion. I went to the cage. I went all the way to court, and they did not get me in front of the judge. I just sat in the cage. Kalia Schilling didn't even put me in front of the judge because she knew I was going to say that I wanted a second doctor's opinion. So she freaking screwed me totally. Then I fucking go to a mental hospital. When I get to the mental hospital, the doctor says, I get it. You're not crazy at all. No medication. I don't want you on any medication. We're going to have to keep you here. We're going to have to keep you here a little while because we're going to send you back on no medication. So I went to a mental hospital and no medication. So now I told my judge that, and she don't freaking listen. She don't listen. She thinks I'm delusional. I told her twice in court about Matt Williams. I did meth to get rid of COVID, and I remembered Matt Williams got shot 8 times and his partner DOG and I was freaking flipping out on Christopher Lee Roth. He's a canine sheriff in Cocoa. I watched him grow up on Cocoa Beach. March, April, May, I'm selling jewelry on the beach, and then the rest of the year I'm traveling and stuff. Cocoa Beach. And so basically, and the cops let me sell jewelry on the beach. All these for 30 years. They even come out and check up on me and make sure I wasn't selling fake Oakleys again because I got busted selling fake Oakleys. So anyways, man, so basically, I guess Polk County didn't realize that I have freaking police and sheriffs on my side. The whole country, now the whole country knows about this case. They know that I'm the only one that stuck up for Matt Williams. And now, I don't know, Matt Williams, Angela Freeland got shot 68 times. 11 years later, we had a fake riot in Q-Dorm and somebody got stabbed 68 times. Anyways, 2006, that's when Matt Williams got killed and Angelo and freaking DOG. In 2006, my Russian wife showed up, and then I got I finally had my Series 66 and Series 7. In 2005, I took my Series 66 and the Series 7 exam, but I failed both of them, a 68% and a 68%. And then freaking boom, after Vietnam, the Democrats had the tax rate up to 68%, and we were in Vietnam to get the rubber tree that makes rubber. And then after 1968, every freaking building high-rise comes with demolition bombs already in the freaking building. All you have to do is run the wires, and I think they use rats addicted to cocaine 1 floor at a time, and they run the wires, chew through walls and shit, run the wires for demolition. So every building was made to come down. If you Google 1969 World Trade Center, it shows that was made to come down. Those demolition were already in there. You see there's a picture. I have, those buildings were with the columns, with the freaking Twin Towers and the columns. Those were built in like 1875. And they and they showed Twin Towers. And the cartoons, if you go on Instagram and look up cartoons, World Trade Center. Anyways, Matt became a sheriff in 1993. Pablo Escobar, we faked his death in 1993. And the Twin Towers got attacked in 1993. And El Chapo got arrested the first time in 1993. And basically, there was no dead bodies in the Ohio crash site, no planes to the Pentagon, and no planes to the Twin Towers, no planes to the towers, Tower 2, and everybody in Tower 2 was already dead with a bullet in their head. Why? Pablo Escobar was a security guard. And everybody that blew up in Avianca Airlines blew up in 1989 to kill one person for Pablo Escobar. They faked their deaths. They worked in Tower 2. Anyways, blah, 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 blah.